Hi, I'm Kira. Welcome to the water element. So today we're going to work with the water element in our QIGONG practice. And it's all about being fluid and soft. And in QIGONG, they call it the Wu Wei, which means to go with the flow of life. So we'll start seated. You can bring your chair, or if you prefer, you can sit on the floor, but usually we take a chair. Make sure it's one that doesn't have arms on it. And then bring yourself to the end of the chair so your feet are on the floor. Bring your hands to face down onto the knees and use this time just to ground. Maybe closing down the eyes here. And feeling your way into your breath. Notice the fluidity of the breath. The softness of the breath. And how it flows in and out without you even asking it to. This life force energy is our qi. And when we're not resisting, but allowing and being with the flow of life, we really get to cultivate mindfulness in every moment. So maybe this moment is that for you. Just tuning in, being here fully, and going with the flow, whatever that is for you today. Meeting yourself exactly where you are. And taking some time in this meditation to set an intention for your practice today. What does going with the flow look like for you? What does being soft feel like? And how can you immerse yourself in both? And be like water. We're here for 3 more breaths, using each breath as an anchor to sink deeper into the floor beneath you. The end of your final exhale, maybe you open up the eyes or you sit for a couple of moments longer, your choice. And then when you're ready, only when you're ready, we'll come to stand, placing our chair off to the side. You could of course do this whole practice seated if you prefer. Make sure it's out of the way. And then when you're ready, coming to find your way back to your center. Feeling your feet on the floor and bringing all your weight into the fronts of your feet. The fronts of our feet is the bubbling well. And you want to feel this area activating. So it's kind of underneath the ball of your foot, or just below the arch rather. As you bring the hands out, the fingertips are facing down. The tailbone points down and the knees are as soft as they can be without activating the legs too much. And here we are, centering, going with the flow, and dropping into that stillness, that softening. We'll land here in Sung for 3 more breaths. Breathing in fully, and maybe sighing the breath out through the mouth if that feels okay. Feeling this life force energy. And as you're ready to, you can join me as we open up the Qi gates, using the inward breath to reach the arms up and overhead. The fingertips face each other, and then you drag them through imaginary honey or water, gathering all those parts of you back to the self. There's a start, middle, and end to this form, so you want to come back into that standing position before you move 2 more times using your breath. And we usually start our Qigong practice this way. Helps to center us and bring us home. to the present moment. Use your breath for your final round, opening your chi gates. Until eventually you land back in that standing position in Sung. Closing the eyes and feeling your weight supported by the earth beneath you. One more big breath here. A centering exhale out through the nose. Then we're going to bring our left hand behind us. We're going to bring our right hand in front of us, like we're going to shake someone's hand. And then from here, you circle out. In Qigong, you always tuck the thumb in. So you continue to circle. And you don't go any higher than your chest. The hand is soft, and so is the arm. And then if it feels okay to do so, you can add in the whole body, starting to move into that fluidity, that water element. Be deeply connected to the breath as you move. And move like you were in slow motion. Mindfully, softly. And we're going to start to make these circles a little bit smaller. Until only the arm is moving and the undulating movements start to come back to stillness. And you're just moving that forearm and that hand. And then you're going to tuck the arm into the side body. And you're going to just move the hand by itself. And you're sort of bringing it around the lower part of the abdomen. This is called our lower dantian. And in Qigong, they believe this is where we keep all of our energy stores. Keep soft and fluid with the movement. Make it smaller and smaller until eventually you release that arm out to the side and meet yourself back in Sung. Take a big breath in. Take a long exhale. And then that right hand comes behind you. Your left hand's out in front of you like you're going to shake that person's hand again. And then you're making the circles. And you're moving them out towards the left. You can add in the undulating movement with the whole body if it feels okay to do so. It's not required, but because we're working with this water element today, it is nice to do so. You can feel that fluidity, those sticky areas in the body. Keep the arm tucked into the side body. And then move a little bit slower. Make the circles a little bit smaller. So you're just working with the forearm. The undulating movement, the side body comes back to stillness. The circles get smaller and smaller until eventually it's just your hand that's circling out in front of your lower dantian. Take 2 more really slowly until eventually you circle out to the left hand side and bring both arms beside you, back into Sung. Breathe in 1 time, breathe out to exhale. And we're going to come into tree shaking or arm swinging, they call it sometimes. So we're not going to be here for too long. It is a pretty active pose or active form. So you bring the arms out in front of your shoulders and you swing back and forth. Now there's a bobbing action that happens with the knees. I'll give you a side profile. Bobbing in line with the shoulders. Imagining that all the weight is in the fronts of the feet even though the heels are grounded on the floor. So you're feeling into that bubbling well or bubbling spring at the front of the feet. And then you can connect breath to the movement. You'll really start to feel some chi as you move through this, even if it's subtle. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1. Coming back to center, back to sung. Closing the eyes maybe, or keeping a soft gaze as you breathe. Make sure those fingertips are pointing down and not curling in towards the hands. One more breath. One more exhale. Then we're going to bring the hands out in front of the lower dantian, which we've spoken about a couple of times now. The backs of the palms are facing each other. And this is the element of water. So you inhale, reach up. You exhale, circle out, palms are facing forward. And then the backs of the palms come up through the midline, and then you circle out. The fingertips stay soft, and the movements are fluid. As I give you a side view, I'm going to turn to the side, and then I'm going to show you the next part of the form. So you can hinge forward and find this undulating movement with the spine. You sort of dome as you come forward, backs of the palms meet, or they hover above each other really. And then you add on as much of the movement as feels good. It might be very subtle. It might be expansive. You might really open up. But the most important part of this form is to go with the flow. Move with the breath. And then slow it right down. I'm probably going faster than you should be, but now we've got it going on. We'll slow it down. Maybe close the eyes as you move. Think about embracing the fluidity of water, that softness. And immerse yourself in the two. In the flow, in the wu wei, the flow of life, and in the softness that going with it brings. Start to make your circles a little bit smaller now. Maybe leaving that undulating movement and coming back to a more neutral position with the spine. And just circling your hands out. Coming into your last round now, making it really slow, like you were dragging the hands through water. And as you circle out, bring the arms down beside you, palms are facing the body, fingertips pointing down. Maybe closing the eyes and resting here, or maybe just keeping a soft gaze. Feeling the softness, the stillness, and the peace that this form brings. We're here for one more breath. And then as you're ready to exhale, we're going to come into the stagnant position for the water element. So I'll turn to the side. You bring the arms out behind you. You tuck your thumbs in. You point your tailbone down, suck the belly in, activate the core or the abdomen. And then chest is proud, gaze is soft as you bring your head to neutral. And this is one of those shapes that after some time you really feel it activating the chi in the arms. Sometimes I think the stagnant poses are even more challenging than the moving ones. So an invitation to close the eyes and just be with what is here, with that flow, with that fluidity. The breath be your soundtrack, and be with it. Immerse yourself in the breath. We're here for 3 more rounds of breath. Noticing maybe the chi in the hands in stillness. 1 more breath in. And as you're ready to exhale, bring the hands out beside you and just find your sung, your standing position once more. Maybe turning up the corners of the mouth and taking a soft smile. Breathe in 1 time. Breathe out through the nose. And then we'll come to close down our chi gates. Inhaling up and overhead. Fingertips face each other as you come all the way down. And then out to the side. Remembering the start, middle, and end. Make them slower each time. Last round. Use your breath. And then as you come into your final sung, pause for 1 more breath in. 1 more full breath out. And then find your resting position. You could bring the feet together for a bamboo in the wind and find some stillness or some movement rather. Whatever the body does is natural. Otherwise, reaching for your chair, bringing yourself to the front of your chair as the feet are anchored, the palms are facing down, and you close down the eyes. And as you sink into this moment, in stillness, notice the fluidity of the breath. Notice the softness. And notice any resistance. All are welcome. Land in 3 more rounds of breath. Softening a little more with each exhalation. And then when you're ready, blinking your eyes open, bringing your right hand into a little fist, your left hand on top, and bowing to your inner teacher for guiding you here today, to take some time to tune in to the flow of life. Thank you for joining me for your practice.